you, Mr Mayor. Well, I'm very pleased to be presenting this joint amendment together with the Liberal Democrats. I don't know if this motion was brought on the agenda to highlight the fact that we are opposed to city academies. If so, I'm very proud to say, yes, we do oppose city academies. There have been suggestions in this chamber and in the local media that the reason we oppose city academies is for the sake of making a political point. I actually think this is really offensive. I think it's really important that in a democratic forum such as this that we respect that we have different opinions and ideas. And I think it's completely inappropriate to suggest there's anyone in this room who doesn't want what's best for the citizens of Brighton and Hove. We just might have different ideas of what that is. Of course, it's no secret that we oppose city academies, and our amendment highlights the reasons why that is. There's inconclusive and highly debatable evidence that it does improve overall standards. There's less democracy and accountability in how the schools are run. And we also don't think the best way to improve overall education for young people is just to throw millions of pounds at buildings and facilities. We would much prefer, if the government's got that money to spend, to see them release it directly to the schools for them to choose how they will spend that money. There's much more cost-effective ways those millions of pounds could be spent, such as excellence in cities, which was highly successful, or one-to-one tuition. When I explain to people who don't know that much about city academies what it means the local authority handing over the whole power of how the school is run to one wealthy individual who may not know anything about education. Most people think that's pretty bonkers.
Sorry, can we just have one...
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And the way that person is selected is not competitive and it's not democratic. And they're going to be handling millions of pounds of taxpayers' money every year. And there's already reports that there's overblown maintenance costs in some city academies. Of course we welcome the fact that perhaps £30 million is going to be invested in Falmer School. Of course that's a fantastic thing. All the way along we've been told that's the only way that Falmer School will get any money. There's no way they'll get any money otherwise under Building Schools for the Future until 2016. Well, in fact, we've now found out this is complete rubbish. We've now found out that Building Schools for the Future funding could be available, releasing millions of pounds to Brighton and Hove schools as early as next year. So I think people have been quite harshly deceived in that respect. Let's just turn to the results. As we've highlighted, over 30% of city academies are deemed to be failing schools. And even of those where there have been improvements, this has largely been put down to the changing demographics in the schools. PricewaterhouseCoopers' study has shown that the number of children, for example, receiving free school meals has dropped from 45% to 29% in 6 years. City academies can set their own exclusion rates, and of course they have much higher exclusion rates than other state schools. The bottom 10% nationally miss off getting 5 GCSEs at grades A star to G. In city academies, this is nearly 20%, which is worse than the predecessor schools, and yet city academies are supposed to be helping the most vulnerable in our societies. Of those who do achieve 5 A stars to C, 2/3 aren't studying languages, half aren't studying history or geography, and a quarter aren't studying creative subjects. Now, to me, that is not a high-quality, balanced, all-round education. Let's just turn to equality issues as well. In some areas, schools do banding tests, but guess what? These banding tests take place after school, so that makes them inaccessible for some parents and some children. The PricewaterhouseCoopers study showed that school boards lack representation from women and minority ethnic groups. But I want to finish by saying, of course, we hope that whatever happens to Falmer High School, that it will be successful. And we are being gracious. As you say, we have been relatively quiet about the Falmer School. We did not say in our amendment that it's not what the people of Moulsecoombe want. We said it's not what some people want. But unfortunately, for those parents, they don't have the choice to send their child to another local school. So there's severe implications for admissions procedures. But of course we hope whatever happens that it does go the right way, because after all we don't want to be left in a few years' time with another Comart on our hands, with the local authority picking up pieces of a failing school at costs of millions of pounds to the local authority.